Absolutely, it's delicious. Worth risking your life for. But I get the surprise. It isn't exactly common in Skyrim. And the thought of hunting something that can just as easily turn you into dinner is, well, probably unnerving for most hunters here. On Solstheim, though, it's a big part of the Skaal diet, and the hunters there are up for the challenge. My bear stew is something of an old family recipe. Weird? Ah, come on. Something's only weird if you haven't tried it. But yeah, I do. As a matter of fact, I've always loved cooking for others. And now that we're traveling together, I'd be happy to cook for you too. Maybe it could be my way of contributing to our adventures. Tell you what, if you bring me some ingredients while we're at a tavern or at home, I'll introduce you to some Skaal recipes I know. Of course, you can also just ask me to cook any of the ones I've already shown you. How about it? That's what I like to hear. You know, you learn a lot about someone when you share a meal together. First up, I'll introduce you to one of my favorites, roasted horker belly. It's typically roasted in lard and served with mashed ash yams, but in Skyrim potatoes will have to suffice. If you bring me some horker meat, a bit of salt and a potato, I promise you won't regret it. Growing up, I used to love going to festivals in the market square, drinking, food, and dancing well into the night. I miss those days. Tell me what's on your mind. Tell me you got something. They smell terrible, but they taste delicious. Trust me. Need this for the side. Thanks. Don't want it to be too bland. Thank you. That should be everything. Give me a bit to whip this up. There we go. You know, you wouldn't think horker would taste so good when you first look at them, but damn are they delicious. Enjoy. Now, next up is a classic comfort food, seafood chowder. On Solstheim, it's typically considered a fallback food when game is scarce, but I think it's a worthy dish in its own right. Bring me some clam meat, mud crab legs, butter and milk, and you'll get to see why. Wouldn't be seafood without the seafood. Haha, thanks. Vicious little bastards, aren't they? That's important. Thank you. And you didn't drink it. Impressive. Well, you did your part, now it's my turn. Just give me a bit to work my magic. My other kind of magic. And here we are. This right here is just one of many reasons why it's good to live by the sea. I hope you like it. Now, for one of my childhood favorites, rabbit stew. My uncle would make this when I was feeling a bit under the weather, and it always helped me feel better. Bring me some rabbit meat, carrot, garlic, and tomato, and I'll be happy to make it for you. Is it hypocritical to say I never feel good about hunting these? Let's just get it in the pot. It'll be worth it. Excellent, thanks. Gotta have veggies too. Time for Flavor Town. That'll enhance the taste. Much appreciated. Okay, that's all we need. I'll get to work. And here we are. I hope this gives you the same comfort it always has for me. Enjoy, my friend. Alright, there's one more recipe I want to show you. An absolute staple in any Skaal hunter's diet. Fried elk cutlets with juniper gravy. I'm already getting hungry just thinking about it. Bring me some elk meat, juniper berries for the gravy, and also your appetite, 'cause this one is hearty. Excellent. We might just make a hunter out of you yet. It's amazing how versatile these are, isn't it? Alright, thanks for the help with the ingredients. I hope you're hungry. I'll get started. Okay, my friend, you're in for a treat. The juniper gravy complements the meat perfectly. Enjoy. And that's it for my little Taste of Solstheim. I hope you've enjoyed the dishes as much as I enjoyed making them for you. If you have any favorites, I'm happy to cook us a meal once a day or so. Just ask any time we're at an inn or at home. It's the least I can do. Hey, do you have a moment? I want to talk to you about something. It's just that it's been a while since I've had somebody I felt like I can trust, or anybody at all. I've been on my own for so long. You already know about my uncle's passing, and the few friends that I had growing up blindly bought into Ulfric's propaganda and rushed off to join the Stormcloaks. I have no way of knowing if they're alive or dead. Maybe it doesn't matter now anyway, but the point is, traveling with you is the first time in a long time I haven't felt so alone. So I want to show you something, as a way to say thank you, but not here. When we have some time, I'd like to take you to my old campsite. You know, the place where we first met. I know it's a bit out of the way, but it's special to me. I'll explain when we get there. I hope that's okay. Well, here we are. I've been coming to this spot ever since I was a kid. This is where Uncle Agnar first taught me how to hunt. There's just something about being out here, away from it all, and under the stars that's always been so magical to me. Anyway, speaking of magic, there's something I wanted to show you. It's an ancient Skaal spell. It's said that it only works between two people who share a close bond. It's been too long since I felt like I had a friend, let alone a bond with anyone, and I want you to know that's not something I take for granted. So I'd like to teach you this spell and see if it works. If it does, it'll bring me to you instantly, no matter where I am at that moment. Couldn't hurt to try anyway. Here, let me show you how to cast it. Alright, are you ready to give this a try? Just equip the spell, point it somewhere, and fire away. Then, we'll both need to pray to any divines that I arrive at that spot in one piece. I've heard horror stories of what can go wrong with these types of spells. Keep your eyes open, keep yourself alive. Whoa! I wasn't sure that was actually gonna work. It's been years since that was cast on me. I probably shouldn't have eaten anything before we tried that, though. It feels like my whole stomach is about to come out of my mouth. But never mind that, it worked. Now you can use this to bring me to your location if we get separated. Or if you're in over your head in a battle. Or if you need to pull me out of an embarrassing social situation. Which would be much appreciated, by the way. The possibilities are endless. Anyway, thanks for being my friend. I trust you with my life, and this is my way of proving that. I'm ready to go when you are. Hey, did you know that the Skaal believe the Draugr were cursed by the Allmaker for practicing cannibalism while alive? Well met. Aye, according to Skaal legend. Remind me to tell you about that when we're not crawling through a dusty tomb. Ah, right. According to Skaal legend, a group of warriors once became stranded on the island of Solstheim. As game became scarce and they began to starve, they started feasting on the flesh of their fallen to survive. The Allmaker saw this as an abomination, and so cursed them to forever walk the earth with an insatiable hunger for human flesh. That seems more terrifying to me than the mainland variant of Draugr, which are said to be servants of the dragon priests. Although Solstheim has a fair bit of history with the dragon cult as well. Hey, that reminds me. There's a book I've been meaning to read on that very subject. It's called The Guardian and the Traitor. I know we're always busy, but if you come across that book, would you be willing to part with a copy for me? Thanks, I appreciate that. Let me know when you find one. What a day, huh? Hey, thanks! Time for me to brush up on my history of Solstheim. Let me give you something in return. I've had this old sword for a bit, and my uncle placed a Skaal enchantment on it while he was still alive. It is said to aid the wielder in cleansing the curse of undeath. I'm not much of a sword guy, so I'd like you to have it. No worries though if you want to break it down and study the enchantment for yourself. It's just a sword. Thank you, my friend. It's nothing we can't handle. This city is full of pompous, fat cat nobles. The adversary would show no mercy on this lot.
After he murdered High King Torig.
The adversary is the antithesis of the Allmaker in Skaal beliefs. It is said that when the Skaal people grow lazy and begin to take the gifts of the Allmaker for granted, the adversary will take shape. He can have many forms, or aspects as they are called. These aspects can be anything from a vicious and terrible beast to a deadly plague, or he can even take shape as one of the Skaal themselves, with sinister motives of course. Such is the tale of the greedy man. Well, the legend goes that the greedy man had lived amongst the Skaal for some time. None in the village suspected his true form. Then one day, the skill of the hunters and warriors of the Skaal dwindled, and the shaman could no longer summon beasts to their aid. The greedy man spoke up, and said that as punishment for growing fat and lazy, I have taken the gifts of the Allmaker from you, and until one of you can step forth to reclaim them, the Skaal shall live in misery and despair. Legend has it, one young Skaal did step forth to reclaim them. His name was Aevar. There's actually a book about him that recounts the tale of how he restored the Allmaker's gifts. It's called Aevar Stone-Singer, and it tells that story better than I could. Would you be willing to give me a copy if you find one? Thank you, I'd be grateful for that. What's going through that head of yours? Do you now? Thanks for bringing this to me. I also have a little something for you too. I've enchanted this bow with an old Skaal hunting enchantment. May it help keep your hunting skills sharp, so that you may keep the greedy man at bay. Of course, if you want to break it down to study the enchantment for yourself, I won't be offended. Use that knowledge however you see fit, and thanks again. Let's get going. On my honor. Please, tell me we're going for coffee. No, actually, he doesn't. Why do you ask? I guess I've just never really viewed him as a pet. For a Skaal shaman, summoning a wolf spirit is done for a very specific purpose. Either to aid in combat, or to perform a ritual sacrifice when a criminal is sentenced to death. You know, fun stuff like that. Companionship isn't generally a reason wolf spirits are summoned. Yeah, they're called the Cainlorn Wolves, and they're summoned from the spirit world. It's actually considered an honorable way to die. The convicted is devoured alive, and this allows their soul to be purified before being returned to the cycle of life. Anyway, sorry to sidetrack the conversation with that fun bit of information. I just thought it was relevant as to why my wolf spirit doesn't have a name. Huh. You know, I've never thought about that. But he does feel like a friend at this point. He's always had my back, and now he's got yours too. Alright, let's do it. Do you have any ideas? I'm listening. Stormwind, huh? You know, I like it. It suits him nicely, I think. That's it then. From now on, he's Stormwind. You know, it does feel right now that he has a proper name. Thank you for helping with this.